So, hi everyone. Just a quick sanity check. This session is productivity upgrade with Coda. If this was not what you were signing up for, sorry, but stick around, might be fun. And if it is, you're at the right place. Really quickly, I'm gonna go do the, word from our sponsor. Coda is an all-in-one platform that blends the flexibility of docs, structure of spreadsheet, and the power of application. I'll be going over some intuitive and easy-to-use features in Coda to help improve productivity and automate some of the more mundane parts of your day-to-day workflow. As Donna had kind of mentioned earlier, Coda has been focusing more on the TPM role, and we've been organizing TPM meetups in all the cities, such as New York, San Francisco, and Seattle. If you are in the area, we'd love to see you in one of the meetups. If you're interested, there's a Coda booth there, and we'll send you information. Now that the commercial is done, I will go back to the regular programming. I do appreciate some of you guys laughing, because I was wondering, does that joke make sense now that streaming is a thing? Because my kids do not understand commercials. They're just like, this is broken. Move on to the next show. Quick introduction to myself. Yes, I'm the engineering chief of staff at Coda. I have over 15 years of experience in technical program management, and it spans big corporates like Google and Splunk, all the way to startups such as Coda, in industries like SaaS products and health and nonprofit. You'll get a general sense of me. I really like breadth. I'm interested in everything. So, regarding productivity, the phrase that comes into my mind is set it and forget it. We all know the phrase, but how often do we actually do that? Put it to use, right? For me, it means finding ways to figure out how to automate tasks that I have to do manually. It's easy tasks, it's the easy manual toil. You're like, oh, it only takes me a couple seconds to do, but death by 1,000 cuts. Soon enough, I spend 3 hours of my day-to-day working on these manual tasks. And I was gonna say, I'm a very lazy person, and I don't like to do those things because it's boring. But taking inspiration from our keynote speaker this morning, Jen, she said, volume of work does not equal to impact. So I'm not gonna say that I'm lazy. I wanna be impactful. So how do we do that, right? I wanna go through some use cases which upgrade your productivity. We're all TPMs. We're already very productive. If you have to do something boring and manual toil on it day to day, you figure out how to streamline it as soon as possible. However, there's not always a person you could delegate the task to, and it's those little things that you're like, I really don't want to do it, but it's so critical, the glue that sort of keeps everything together. So I want to brainstorm with you all how we could figure out automation to do this when you don't have an inch prod team that could come to your beck and call and build the tool that you want. And added bonus, these automations works even when you're out of office. And I think that's so awesome, because I could chill somewhere else and not have to worry, did my backup actually did the exact thing that I told them to do, or did they forget it, or do it the wrong way? All right, so here are some quick examples that I'm gonna go over today, and we'll start with to-do reminders. All right, I consider my role at Coda to be the glue that keeps everything together. Is there anyone else that could relate to that? Is your role? Yeah. I'm still gonna use my term glue person until someone could find a fancier or better term than glue. But as a glue person, it's our job to bring everything to function as a single unit. We need to identify gaps, we need to fill them, but in order to do this, I need to have up-to-date account on progress and the status of everything. We need to know all the work streams, but these things require the members of the organization to input. And I don't know about you guys, but my team members do not like to write reports. They're just like, oh, don't you just know already? Can't you read my mind? No. And people often forget to provide the updates. So to-do reminders are super helpful to ensure that the updates are provided. I'll walk you through my 3 different versions of the to-do reminder system and how it's been upgrading through time. So version 1 of my to-do system is basically I set up a calendar event that reminds me when I have to set a reminder. So a reminder for reminders. It's very meta, I know, but that was the best thing I could do, was to remind myself not to forget that I have to go nag people. My job did get a little bit easier when Slack/remind commands came about. Version 2 is implemented with /remind. I schedule the messages, the remind messages, first thing to be sent first thing on Monday. It's a very generic Slack reminder of please update your OKR status, and it's set to specific channels. And it will be set recursively, so it will get sent weekly basis. So once I set it up, as long as the team does not change and the Slack channel doesn't change, I don't have to ever visit this again. Done. Cool. Awesome. However, I get messages from individual engineer going but I did do my work. Why are you nagging me? So it prompted me to come up with the new system, version 3. I set up Slack messages with Coda that's sent on Mondays, but I'm able to add a stipulation where if it's that Monday is a holiday, don't set the message. So I was able to grab company holidays, and basically my automation would check against that table, and if it's a holiday, then the message doesn't get sent. On top of it, the messages will only get sent to people who have not completed the request. So I have a table of status, and if the last updated date is not within last week, that's when they get the nag. And if you already updated your message, I will not bug you, which is great because it reduces, message fatigue. If people get used to seeing the nag message and they know that there is no system behind it and it's just ads mail, they get blind to it. So this is why I'm I'm going to get better about this nag message. I don't know. It's kind of cool, maybe. I find it interesting, so maybe I'm a nerd. Next, as described, you can create and send Slack messages directly from Coda, so you don't have to work with different toolings. And you can see how easy it is to add a Slack automation to your Coda doc so that you could build the process that everyone could stay on top of task management. Cool. All right, if you did not find that interesting, the next thing is, aside from collecting status updates, I also need to share the reports to various teams on the result. And they don't want to see all the data. They just want to know the TLDR conclusion. And the reason why the reporting is really important is so that organizations could stay in sync on overall progress so that we can make adjustments. And in case that things are not on track, we could adjust really quickly to get back on track. So one of the reports that I put together is the pre-release notes. Anyone familiar with the concept of pre-release notes? All right, cool. Pre-release notes usually contain information about when the build is targeted to be pushed out, and most importantly, what's included in the build. This mumbo jumbo, but really what it means is, I don't know if you guys, but I get asked by product managers and marketing team going, when does this particular feature get into the hands of users? Or our support team going there's a bug, we have a fix, when will it hit prod? That's the important question. And usually engineering's I checked it in, it's in the code base, it will get to the users whenever it gets to the users, right? There's this mysterious gap between where the code gets merged in and gets in the hands of users that they call the fun block box, and someone else will figure it out, right? And so there's always a guesstimate of oh, when can we actually reply? How can we coordinate embargoes and marketing campaigns that way? And this is where the pre-release notes comes in. It's this feature will get turned on to prod at this particular time, and it provides this vital information. While it is very important, it's painful to put together. I would pretty much have to, before using Coda, I would have to manually curate this on a daily basis. Again, I started with calendar event that reminds me to send it out, because it's important to send it out hopefully before the release, because it's not really good pre-release notes if it's sent out post-release. And I usually target it about an hour before, so that way if there's something missing, then people can flag me. Like if there's a release blocker that just popped up, they could flag me saying like, hey, hold the train, so that we could get this release blocker fixed. But because things change so quickly, I can't take advantage of the release feature because information is not the same like every day. So I can't use the / remind feature from Slack. And also, because I have kind of a life outside of this, I have meetings sometimes. I cannot always guarantee. I said, like, I'm going to get it done like an hour before, but if I have a meeting that runs over or whatnot, sometimes it gets sent more early during the day, but usually way later during the day. So it's not great for consistencies, and that annoys me. So to show how I used to do this, could we play a video?
Set to be deployed to prod, I will have to first grab the staging version, then the prod version. Lastly, I will go to GitHub and update the GitHub link with the 2 version numbers so I could generate a diff list. In order to generate a list of cherry picks, I would go to Circle CI and copy and paste all the cherry picks one by one.
So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of busy work. Pretty sure it's not impactful, but you know, someone has to do it. And I'm like, let me see how I could free up my time. Hang on. Cool. Third time is charm. So with Coda automation, I was able to sort of get everything hooked up, and it will automatically pull from the databases, GitHub, Circle CI, Jira, you name it, and it refreshes on an hourly basis, so I don't have to. I have a scheduled time where via Coda automation and a Slack message will get, or Gmail actually, you could use whatever form you want to, and the message will get sent out on a timely basis. So let's see if this will work. I would need some black magic to help play the video. Thank you.
To provide a list of PRs,
no, this is the old
deployed
video.
to prod, I will have to first grab the staging version. To provide a list of PRs set to be deployed to prod, I will.
That's the video. Yes.
With Coda, staging and prod versions are now set and automatically updated. Diff link is also automatically set up via formula. Cherry picks are automatically pulled and set by a GitHub pack.
So it took a little bit to set up the things. You know, it took me about 20 minutes to write the formulas and
With
get
Coda,
everything.
staging and prod version
Get everything hooked up. But from then on, I no longer have to do 5 minutes of this every day. So in the long haul, I'm like, this is a good opportunity cost to spend. I want to go a little bit details on some of the Coda things, as you can see, like Coda will automatically update from GitHub,
so that you have the latest set
and you can set
cherry picks that were merged into release branch.
Hourly, daily, or ad hoc sync. Similarly, for Jira, because I know people ask about this, it's also the same for Jira.
With Jira Pack, you can pull the latest information on the list of release blockers you're tracking.
See?
With Jira,
Sorry. All right, lastly, alerting. Need the other side. The other monitor slides. No. That one goes back, but the other monitor slides. Sorry. Thank you. All right. So aside from project management, in terms of monitoring progress, it's not just sufficient to just monitor progress, right? I have to alert when something goes wrong, because otherwise monitoring is kind of useless, like to see, because the main point is to let people know when something is wrong. Well, I need to figure out how to alert and mitigate the problem. Not that I mitigate the issues myself, because I'm not that good. But the key part is I need to figure out who to rope in to mitigate the issue and ensure that mitigation does happen. So the next question is, how do I alert them, right? There's tools like PagerDuty, OpsGenie, Splunk on Call, which paging tools for this, but they're really, really disruptive. Usually we save it for the site is going down, you need like within 15 minutes of response time, like I know our SRE will not be happy if I have something that's like, oh, take care of it within the day, and I page them for it. So we do use Slack messages for these type of low urgency alerts. But so we utilize the Slack messages for any of the customer issues, escalations that we need engineering attention to, but of a looser timeline. Now, obviously, any escalation that's very timely, we still use the paging system. But when it comes to Slack, customer champions are always asking me, well, who do I contact? They don't know which particular team. They're just like, I just need Inch. But Inch is divided into different teams. They're like, we're not learning the Inch org. Like, please don't make us do that. Figure out which Inch team for which particular issues, let alone figure out the Slack channel to ping them. So I get a lot of ping going like, I need to talk to this particular team. How can I get a hold of them? While playing operator is like, telephone operator is fun. Again, busy work that I would like to remove so that I could be more impactful elsewhere. How do I figure it out how to get a hold of them? Well, with Coda, we have removed most of the manual effort, and the message itself can be drafted with automation. And most importantly, the routing progress is completely automated so that it goes to the right team and pings the engineer on call via Slack automatically so that it saves me time.
I want to share one thing, is that if you've seen my LinkedIn profile, you probably saw that I worked at a fintech company before. And at a fintech company, we actually used Coda for a lot of things. At one point, we even used it for entire company level planning. So that went outside of engineering, but it spanned product, finance, marketing, and everybody else. So we had a staff TPM working with Coda on setting up for entire company. And a lot of things went into first setup of things. But then when we rolled it out to the company, the process was pretty smooth. Each department has their own views, own forms. We had all the dependencies cross-checked, like, hey, I'm on this engineering team, I have a dependency on that engineering team, and that worked beautifully. If you would like to hear about that setup, just find me here in the breaks, and I'll let you know. Okay.
Our customer champions work mostly out of Intercom and Slack. We would like to keep them within their comfort zone and reduce the need to add yet another tooling. Within Intercom, they can tag the type of issue the user feedback belongs to. Once tagged, our escalation system implemented in Coda will be triggered and fed with all the necessary information from the original ticket in Intercom. You'll see a Slack message get triggered and sent into the correct Slack channel. We set it up to add mention the customer champion who escalated issues so that they are in the loop of the escalation follow-up. Aside from Slack notification, Inch team members can also opt to get paged as well. In this system, the on-caller can determine the means to reach them. The information is auto-populated without manual intervention.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So reminder that Coda is organizing TPM meets in cities. So if you're interested in learning more, please talk to us. And we look forward to talking to you all. And sorry for the technical difficulties, but that's how you know that this is fresh.